With a key few exceptions, most video games that attempt to include characters from multiple franchises tend to be one-offs that are mediocre at best. The thrills that result from unique characters interacting with one another aren't able to sustain the often second-rate gameplay and thematically conflicting story. One of the crossovers that has managed to stand the test of time is Marvel vs. Capcom, which has been pitting beloved comic book and video game characters against one another since the 90s. The franchise has continued to evolve into the genre's most noteworthy entries over the past 2 decades. At the end of the series' 20th anniversary, Capcom revealed the franchise's 6th entry, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, despite the new characters and the inclusion of the cinematic story mode for the first time in the series' history, the shockingly few modes and originality puts a serious damper on this entry's enjoyability. The story mode drops players right off in the middle of intense action, as heroes across both universes have teamed up to take down the newly formed Ultron Sigma and their plot to rid Earth of all humanity. For those who haven't seen the trailers, the first act of the story will feel a bit haphazard, as players will try to ascertain just how both sides came together with no clear answers. While parts of the mystery feel enticing, it more often comes off as off-putting. The lackluster dialogue doesn't help, as we're treated to groan-worthy quips.
So, do you take, like, regular batteries?
Obvious statements being shouted, and occasional subtle nods for longtime fans.
I'm not some cub reporter. I've covered wars, you know.
The pre-rendered cutscenes are followed by all too frequent load times, and ultimately, the battles. These fights end up being an even split between monotonous grunt battles and more meaningful character encounters. In the end, the story provides a moderate but disappointing amount of entertainment that never quite reaches the heights that it could have. Now, at the heart of any prominent fighting game is the gameplay that fuels the various modes and scenarios. The mechanics in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite provide a fun, if not evolved, experience. Featuring a return to 2-on-2 battles, Infinite allows players to take advantage of new abilities. This includes active switches, which encourage players to constantly swap out their partners to further enhance their combos. In addition, Infinity Stones can be activated to perform either quick one-off abilities or more devastating limited attacks that can drastically alter the flow of battle. The control system has been somewhat simplified from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, reducing the primary fighting buttons from 6 to 4. But there are still plenty of simple and complex combos for players of all skill levels to attempt to pull off. Now, in terms of combatants, the relatively small but varied roster of characters all feel unique and well designed. This is best exemplified in their physical size, both supplying advantages and offering counters to their opponents on the battlefield. For example, a well-played Rocket Raccoon could easily take down a much larger Mike Hagar with strategic planning and execution, resulting in more unpredictable matches. At the very least, Capcom does a solid job making a usually, inaccessible genre easier to get into, helping ease fans into the complex action. While the core gameplay may have a considerable amount of depth, the modes offered clearly lack any sort of extra thought or effort. In addition to the 4-hour campaign that has really no sense of replayability, Infinite offers the bare minimum. There's a training mode to better improve your skills, a mission mode that acts as more of an extended tutorial for each character than the name implies, and then there's the standard battle mode, where players can participate in an extremely straightforward and flair-lacking arcade mode, not to mention local and online fights. Now, there are a few different ways to participate in online matches, including a beginners league that entices rookie players to play in ranked matches. However, these disputes lack any sort of gravitas that would make matches feel any different from the average battle, and keep players coming back for more.
Well, there's always room for improvement.
In the period leading up to the game's release, the graphics have garnered a reputation across the internet. While there are no longer characters that stand out as particularly malformed, the graphics in general are rather mediocre. Most characters lack any sort of in-depth details to enhance their reputation. Meanwhile, the backgrounds, with a few exceptions, often remain static and don't react to the chaotic battles going on screen. Now, on the audio side of things, although each character does have their own unique musical theme, the standard match tends to favor Marvel's flair. This often results in booming and grand set tunes that instantly call back to any one of the heroes' big screen themes. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite's gameplay continues the franchise's tradition of packing a punch in with its depth and replayability. Unfortunately, the lackluster campaign, abysmal secondary modes, and middling presentation do little to help justify the full price tag.
Man, just stop talking.
Now, those dedicated to the series and genre will most likely be pleased with what the latest entry has to offer, but those outside the bubble would be better off waiting for a bigger roster and hopefully updates and additions to the current lack of meaningful modes. It's a game that could have propelled the series in a significant way, but in the end, it comes with some heavy baggage. As always, if you like this review, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Otherwise, for everything gaming related, head on over to hardcoregamer.com for your fix.
Go get him, Frank! Whoa, whoa, whoa! You want me to go up against him? He's gonna kill me!
Well, they say journalism's a dying profession.